guess what, guys? We are not starting off with Disney today.
Oh.
A lot of people are like, what is going on? What is going on? That is right. We are starting off with the WGA. What does that stand for? Well, that is the Writers Guild of America. Now, we have been loosely talking about this for the past couple weeks on lives, on our Oscar watch party, on social media. So the writers are kind of pissed right now. Okay, guys, they need to be compensated what they are owed and deserved. So we're going to go more in detail on what is going down in Hollywood with all the writers. The Writers Guild of America has proposed the following articles are propose allowing artificial intelligence to write scripts. Now we're talking about like Chat GPT and things like that, as long as it does not affect writers' credits or residuals. The Guild had previously indicated that it would propose regulating the use of AI in the writing process, which has recently surfaced as a concern for writers who fear on losing out on jobs. But contrary to some expectations, the Guild is not proposing an outright ban of the use of AI technology. Instead, the proposal would allow the writers to use ChatGPT to help write a script without having to share writing credit or divide residuals. Or a studio executive could hand the writer an AI-generated script to rewrite or polish. The writer would still be considered the first writer on the project, even though it had that revisions reworked by that AI intelligence. In effect, the proposal would treat AI as a tool like Final Draft or Pencil rather than the actual writer. It appears to be intended to allow writers to benefit from the technology without getting dragged into credit, all the debunkles with software manufacturers and all those things. Does not address the scenario in which an AI program writes a script entirely on its own, though, without the help of a person. So there's a lot of things to dive in there. And well, we want to know your thoughts and opinions first on this before we give ours, because this is changing the entertainment industry right now. We talk about all the time how technology is a ever evolving door that helps and or despairs the entertainment industry. So we want to know your opinions. Comment below on Twitter or in our YouTube comment section. Please let us know. But I think it's not a good thing, in my opinion. I just feel like it's going to take a lot of the heart, the soul, the value out of the scripts that are written by someone who might experience something a little along the lines of what they're writing. So it's something that I feel like may get misused, misinformed, and I also feel like, what's the difference between this and basically anybody wanting to write a script now? Like you're taking away the advantage of these writers who have been in the industry for many years. You're taking that credit and that knowledge away from them. Now you're just giving it to artificial intelligence and letting just a random person do whatever the fuck they want. It's like you have to put forth the time and the effort and the value into your work so that you can get recognized, not just let a computer do it. That's just my opinion.
Well, I agree with that. And I'm surprised that the WGA is even considering this, because they're so strict in how you are credited, right? Like, if you guys aren't familiar with it, there are all kinds of, whether you are credited as written by, story by, screenplay by, based on a story by, they have like these very definitive rules about how a person is credited on that film or on that television show. And so how does this come into play then? Like because in my opinion, if you let AI write the script, right? Now, if you guys aren't familiar with it, with ChatGPT, you do have to feed it a bunch of information for it to write something, right? Like a screenplay or like a script. But in my opinion, with the best I feel like you could offer as a credit for that would be based on a story by.
Yeah.
Because if you come up with this idea for a story and then you do nothing but feed it into ChatGPT and let it write it, then it's clearly just based on your story because you didn't write it.
Yeah.
You didn't, so I think unless you conceive the story, you put it into Chat GBT, it writes it, and then you go back and you rewrite, right? Because they have rewrites all the time. Writers are brought in to rewrite other people's scripts all the time, and they're still credited as the writer. So unless you go back and rewrite it, change it to make it more human, make things this way, I don't think you should be credited as a writer. You just shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how this is possibly a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? I think any tool, like always, it's good and bad. And I think this is going to be abused. And I think it is going to be to the detriment of writers, because we're going to, like you said, we're going to lose the heart and soul of where you're coming from. ChatGPT doesn't know where you're coming from. It doesn't know emotion. It doesn't know, so dialogue won't be as real. It just, I think this is bad all the way around. If you want to use this to write a description for your film, great, but don't use it to write your film.
Yeah, because I mean,
man.
On the cusp of the writer strike that is potentially about to happen, I feel like this is just another reason for writers just to completely switch up what they do as a profession. They could go into different aspects of the industry, because I feel like they're getting the raw end of the deal when right now they're not getting paid the right wages, especially when they went from having a 21 to 24 episode season down to a 10 episode season and not getting compensated correctly. I mean, due to the streaming platform or streaming structure. But now that you're bringing in artificial intelligence to where, like I said, and like you were mentioning on or touching on, that basically anyone and everyone can do it, and it takes the heart out of the project to where it doesn't make it as connectable, I feel like. So that will definitely draw back some writers who are like, maybe took a year or two off and then see this happening and they're like, why the fuck would I want to come back to this? Like, I'm really interested to see what like a Sorkin or like a Kevin Smith or those type of people who write their own stuff and direct their own stuff have to think about this, because I feel like it will get abused. It will get used in the sense of, they're expecting to get the particular credit and you can't, because you're not the one that is putting forth that time and effort. I feel like, if you want to be a good boxer, you have to train, you have to work out, you have to eat properly. But what this is saying is, if you want to be a writer, all you have to do is sit down in front of your phone and or computer screen and give it a little summary and it'll do the rest for you. Like, I don't feel like that's necessarily the best way to earn something, I mean, especially in this industry where you have to grind every single day. It's 24/7. And I just don't feel like it's the way to do it. That's not a way to earn your credit, so I don't feel like it's right.
Well, and now what does this do for the writers' power, their bargaining power? Because now that everybody just knows that ChatGPT is there, including the studios, right? If the writers go on strike, if they threaten to go on strike, they're just going to use ChatGPT to write the films.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to be like, well, go on fucking strike. We don't care. We know your idea. We know the premise. We're just going to put it into ChatGPT and go. And like, so does that in all essence take away their bargaining power, because they know threatening a strike is not nearly as scary anymore because they'll just have fucking AI write it.
Exactly. Like is this the first step? Are we seeing the demise of the writer? Or can the producer just, like I said, sit down in front of a computer or a phone and then have it retouch a whole story? Are we seeing the demise of that particular part in the industry? I'm kind of scared for it, to be honest.
I am too, because I mean, it's now what are you going to do when you go into pitch? Are they just buying your pitch and then send you on your way and they have AI write it?
Yeah.
Now we own the pitch, so we own the idea. Now we'll just let artificial intelligence create it. Like, that is terrifying.
It is terrifying, because I mean, like we talked about, it's taking away the humanality of it, if that's even a word. But I mean, I just feel like I don't know. It's an ever evolving situation that we're definitely going to stay on top of. But I'm certainly like concerned about the people who are running the DGA, because how do they not see this as a problem?
Yeah.
How do they see this as just, it is a tool in the sense of writing description or summary or synopsis or things like that. But when you're writing whole scripts, how is that not a problem?
Yeah, and diving deep into it, reading what the WGA had to say about all of it, they claim that they would never allow a script that was purely written by ChatGPT to be used. To be like, there has to be some sort of human involvement in it or whatever. You have to dive deep because they did release a huge statement because of many people have the same fears that we have. But just because you say you won't, how do we know that?
Yeah.
Like there's no way to prove that it was or was not human involved. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's very scary, especially like it's really a walking thesaurus. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it can like spit out all of these like huge vocabulary words that, in a sense, like some people might not understand when if like a whole ChatGPT script was pitched and a movie was produced, directed, all that good stuff, and it's out there. Some people, like the layman people, may not even understand what they're watching because that it was so artificially created that it's just, like I said, not connectable.
Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on it. We're gonna keep watching what comes out. We're gonna keep watching what they say about it. Are they gonna define the credits? How will you be credited if you use AI? Like, different things. We're gonna stay on top of it. We're gonna see how this plays out. But it is, as writers, as somebody who's spent a couple of years writing our series and pouring our heart and soul into it with no AI assistance, just us and a pencil and a paper and a keyboard, I take offense to it.
I do too.
I don't know, but like I said, we're gonna keep you updated. It's definitely an ongoing story, and as it progresses, we'll have more opinions.
Yeah,
I'm
we will.
sure.